Hello, welcome back to the Project Hercules Diaries. This past week the Shed Fairies, that's Bob, have been very busy, and I'm really pleased with the amount of progress that's been done. Last thing that we were talking about was making a mandrel to go inside the sleeve drive bearing so that we could fit the mandrel. It's a nice location in the sleeve drive bearing. Fit a spacer and then bolt the timing cover on so that from the other side we can take this really nice fitting piece of silver steel and punch through so we get the center dot in the timing cover exactly in the center of where the sleeve drive crank is, and do the same for the main bearing. So that goes in from the other side up into here. We can fit the same piece of silver steel with a center in so that we can mark the center of the timing cover where the center of the crankshaft is. Now somebody did say, why don't you turn the whole thing upside down and clock the machine on this bore here with a gauge so you know it's central, and then you can drill through from this side. That would have worked fine, but what we wanted to do was take things a step further with this mock-up, and it was a bit difficult to explain without having made the bits, but those bits have now been made, so hopefully you can see what I mean. This is the same width and diameter as the two main bearings on the drawing, and this is what the crankshaft is. So this is the crankshaft on the timing side, and it's got these steps down and it drives the chain to the sleeve drive crank by the sprocket. It's got a worm on the end to drive the oil pump. Now all of that we have here as a mock-up of the end of the crankshaft, and this fits inside here so that what we can do is we can set up everything inside the timing side without having to fit the actual crankshaft. So we don't need the whole crank assembly in here. We just put this in, and it means that we can set the chain tension, we can set the sleeve valve and the timing of the valves, we can set the oil pump at the right distance when we mount the oil pump so that the worm is fully engaged and doesn't bind, and all of that we can do without having to take the great big heavy crankshaft assembly in and out of this side of the cases. So that's why we didn't just want to take the easy option and clock it off here and drill through. So that goes where the bearings are inside the timing the timing side, and you can see that we can adjust these to match where it is on the diagram, and if I fit that in there you'll see what I mean, just like that. So here we've got the sleeve drive crank fitted in the bearing, we've got the chain, the duplex chain fitted around the sprocket. This is our mock-up. It won't go far enough down because the bench is in the way, but when that is stood vertically with the timing cover on and it's all machined up, that will drop down, and then we can engage the oil pump into the worm. We can check the chain tension, we can check for clearance, make sure that the chain isn't rubbing anywhere around the on the casing. We can make the plate that goes underneath the sleeve drive sprocket just to lift it off the bearing so the chain doesn't contact the bearing or rub on the bottom of the case there. So there's a lot we can do without having to lug the crankshaft assembly in and out, because that is going to be a bit of a ball ache to do that. So lots of preparatory work. There's quite a bit of work involved in making that shaft, and it's even been sharpened so we can use that shaft to punch through and mark the timing case. So that's what the Shed Fairies have been up to. Well done, Shed Fairies. I think we're all off for a cup of tea now, and a well-deserved rest. Thank you for watching as ever.